Hello everyone and welcome back to the May edition of the Atlassian Community Roundup. As always, I have a ton of amazing content for you this month, so let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Okay, so we're going to start things off, as always, with our announcements and highlights. And first up is actually Atlassian Online Community announcements. The announcement category is going to be moving to a group. This is all under a new system that's being worked on slowly over time, where they're taking everything that was a collection that wasn't a product category, and they're moving them into groups. So be sure to go to this article and link through to the new group that is the announcements, and be sure to watch the articles there so that you will be updated on any announcements that come out going forward. And related to that is our first announcement that came out through the new group, and that is the community release notes for this month. So one thing that's been added now is when you are logged out on the homepage, there will now be a top posts that'll be displayed, and there's machine learning that's going into what's being displayed there. I know most of you, like me, are probably going to be logged in the majority of the time that you're in the community, but it's probably worth logging out just to go and see what's being recommended to people who are brand new to the community. Next is a campaign that's going on right now for Jira. Plugged into Jira is running for 8 weeks. I think it's been running for about 4 weeks now. So I have linked the aggregate article that has all the posts that are being shared. The Atlassian team is sharing all of their tips and tricks as far as how you can unlock efficiency and collaboration with Jira. So come here and be sure to check out the new articles that are being posted. And don't forget that there is kudos points for getting involved and sharing, liking, commenting on all the posts that are coming out. Next up is an announcement from the Atlassian team about automation for Jira. If you are making use of automation in either your Jira software or your Jira service management applications, the from address that the automation rules are going to be sent from is changing. So I would recommend going to this article, seeing if it's going to affect you, because it's one of those things where you may need to make some changes to your email rules to allow those to come through, or to make sure they're not automatically being filtered into spam. But that change should be live as of this video going out, so be sure to be aware of that. Next up, the university team has a new certification out. As you all know, I am a big advocate of certifications. I am an Atlassian certified expert, and I highly recommend anyone who is an organization administrator for an Atlassian Cloud instance, go check this one out. I know I will be as well. Fingers crossed I will be passing it in the future. Also, right now, there is a discounted price on this certification. So if you act now, you can actually do this for less than half the cost of what it would normally cost. Next up, we have a few events that are coming up. So first off, on June 7th, there is a massive community event. It started with the Boise chapter in the US. There are now, I can't even count how many chapters are co-hosting with them on this. But there are over 100 people RSVP'd for this. It's going to be a really great event all about Atlas, with a few people sharing their use cases on how they're using it today, so that you can learn a little bit about how Atlas might work for you. Next one is Jira Line, which will be happening the following week. This will include, a bit of a primer on what Jira Line is, as well as a live Q&A. So if you have any burning questions about Jira Line, be sure to join this one, as you'll want to be involved in being able to ask your questions and get answers live. Next up is the Dev Day, the meetup, which is all for people who actually develop apps, whether they are official marketplace apps or just things you do on the side. They're going to be giving a full sort of, I believe it is about a 90-minute talk about everything that's going on as far as Dev Day everything going on in the development ecosystem. So if you are a developer or you are interested in what's going on in the development ecosystem, be sure to mark this one on your calendar. Next up, High Velocity. If you are as much of a fan of this as I am, you are going to want to mark this on your calendar. I unfortunately won't be able to attend in person, but they are doing a 3-city tour this year in June, hitting Barcelona, Amsterdam, and Munich. And as much as I wish I could go, it's just not something that I'm capable of doing, but I will definitely be keeping an eye out. Hopefully there will be a digital version of it so that I can catch up on all the news that's going on there. And then finally, for our announcements and highlights, it wouldn't be right if we didn't have another featured community leader this month, Laura Holton, who is all over the place. She is a local chapter leader as well as very active here in the online community. If you want to learn a little bit more about her and the passion she has for the Atlassian ecosystem, go read through the article. It'll give you a bit more of insight into the wonderful person that she is. Okay, moving on over into our new features and product updates. We have tons of those here as well. Right off the bat, the Jira software team is announcing a name change. Roadmap view is now going to be the timeline view in your software projects. You're not losing any features or capabilities. Everything that you know and love about the roadmap view is still there. It's just going to be called timeline going forward. Next up, assets in Jira Service Management Cloud are getting templates. I'm excited about this and what it's going to mean going forward. Right now, they're only doing an IT template, but I see this being something where in the future there will be more templates added. And I know that personally, as I was starting to get on board with assets, I struggled with understanding how to build the object schema. I tried to solve for the world first, then realized I needed to scale things down. And I think if I had a template to get started with, that probably would have saved me a lot of time. So hopefully, they'll follow the pattern that's been done in Confluence, where there are tons of templates now to help you get started, that, maybe the same thing will happen here with assets. Next up, if you have been following all the announcements from Team 23, you knew that this was coming. Jira Product Discovery is coming out of beta and going GA soon. And this article details all of what that means for pricing. So if you have been using Jira Product Discovery, or you've been waiting to see what the price was going to be before you got too heavily invested in it, you'll want to check out this article and see just what it means pricing wise, whether it's going to be something that you want to dive in and start getting involved in, or if it's going to be something that's just a little bit out of your price range. Next up, the table of contents macro in Confluence Cloud has a brand new look. There are some new customizations to configure the appearance of it. So if you are using table of contents in any of your documentation, you'll want to check this out and see if there are things you want to configure about it to give it a different look for you. Next up, we're already talking about Atlas. So once you have gone and attended the June 7th event all about learning more about Atlas, you'll want to come back to this article here, or maybe you want to start here and then use that as a stepping stone to have questions for June 7th. They've done a great job of putting everything in one location for how to get started. This details everything from how to get it set up in your own instance, a short demo video, and then a whole bunch of resources on either how-to guides or more information related to understanding the various aspects of Atlas and how to integrate it with the other products. Next up, another one I'm very excited about. Compass is now allowing you to create components from the YAML config file. Now, I know this isn't going to sound like it's a huge game-changing thing, but it's a massive quality of life improvement where you don't need to manually go and create a component in Compass or use the APIs to do it ahead of including your YAML file in your source code. You can now just create the components in that configuration file, upload it to source control, and it will automatically figure out and create the components for you in Compass. And that is awesome. It's going to make things a lot faster, a lot more streamlined, and a much easier to use for developers. And then finally, our last product announcement is that Bitbucket 8.9, which is the most recent long-term support version, this just details a few of the things that are included in that long-term support release, plus a link to a blog post all about it. If you are not on Bitbucket 8.9, I highly recommend you go and check and see if there are things that will definitely help you. And then the fact that it is a long-term support release, I'd recommend trying to figure out what you need to do to upgrade to that version as soon as possible. And with that, that is all we have for this month. I would encourage you to also go and check out the trending discussions, the questions that have been left out in the cold, and the few little tidbits I found to add into the automation corner. I hope you enjoyed this roundup as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you. As always, there was more things going on than I could actually include in this roundup, so once you've done watching this video or reading through the article, please be sure to go and explore the community on your own and find all the other great things out there that just I couldn't include due to time constraints. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful month ahead, and we'll see you all next month.